dancing around the conversation. We're live. Welcome to the Unpaid Nobodies, motherfucker.
What an introduction.
Coming in hot. Coming in hot.
We're doing live. We're doing live.
No millennial pauses here.
No, all forward, all gas, no brakes.
Look,
canceled.
It's one of those days earlier I said revolution now, and it wasn't even like warranted.
Welcome to a supersized episode of the Unpaid Nobodies. Everybody, please like and follow and subscribe and do all the things that you do on these social media platforms that serve you our content.
Thank you,
gentlemen.
Thank you.
What a week!
I was gonna say, buckle in. We got a lot to get.
We got white rappers. We got Mick Jenkins. We got MF Doom.
One of these things is not like the others.
Why'd you open up with that one?
I don't know.
Okay.
I think I went like in ascending order. Like how much time I want to like spend.
Actually sit on this. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's just get into it. Like we said, we have a lot to cover, so let's just get right into the news.
A lot of albums coming out. At least two I need to listen to.
Yes.
At least absolutely. Two. We're at least going to do a short review for next week.
There's probably a good, I don't know if we have anything planned for next week. It'll probably be around this at least.
No, the big one is this week is our first week of the Year of Doom.
Yes, the Year of Doom. But yeah, let's get into the albums. We've talked about it for several weeks now. It is finally here. The Lyrical Lemonade album, All Is Yellow, is here. It's got features and more features and then some more features. It is a little bit ridiculous, if I'm being honest. It is a lot of people, but I'm excited to see what they put together. They've already put out multiple music videos, so I'm here for it. Is this one of the first? I mean, this isn't even like a.
It's a label tape.
I'm looking for. Are they a label though? That's what I'm curious. Like, I was hesitant.
A video production.
No. Okay.
I mean, I think they're functionally this. I think that's functionally what it is.
I guess it's fair. I don't want to say like they're breaking the mold, but it's definitely one of the first ones I've seen like this.
I think it's an excellent move.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's a very smart move for Lyrical to get into this space. I'm kind of I wouldn't. Maybe I'm just uninformed, but I'm kind of shocked it's just happening now.
Yeah, I mean it does make sense now that you see it and you see it on paper and it's coming into fruition. It's just like, oh, this is a no duh moment.
Yeah,
like how this.
I thought Lyrical Lemonade was going to start putting out music like a long time ago. But like I've seen the feature list for this. I think it's very impressive. So,
my only question, I want to know like who's the overall brain behind it. I want to know who's putting everything together and what their vision is.
I think
I can find that out for you.
Yeah, I think with things I think with things like this, I usually think like that's almost like an unfair expectation.
Oh, I'm not going in with like super expectations. I'm just wondering like who's the brain behind it. If it's actually like Cole or is it like somebody in the music industry?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
But moving on, we also have one of our Griselda boys, Benny the Butcher, is here.
Yeah.
The first Griselda album.
Give us some Coke raps. Give us some January Coke raps. It's been a whole 2 months since Stove Got Cooks dropped last, I guess.
Look, I'm just saying there's snow outside. I need snow in the kitchen. But yeah, Everybody Can't Go is here.
Top of the I'm whipping a batch of rap.
Jasper
I'm just saying, like, if they could get people on rap lyrics, you saying that on a recorded podcast, you're gonna get in trouble. You better chill out.
Yeah.
But anyway, no one's coming for me in our
no one's coming
podcast.
For us. None of our 80 viewers are gonna come at me.
Right. All of a sudden we get swatted. Could you imagine? Jesus Christ. But yeah,
I can't imagine. I can't imagine. Those are my nightmares.
I can't. So like, no.
That's why I have a sword behind me.
Yes, brandishing a sword at the SWAT will surely, diffuse the situation.
Look,
you have like an axe next to your bed. Like,
it's not.
Yeah, that's not for police, my guy.
Who else is it? Who's the Second Amendment supposed to defend you from? It's not bears.
You all should have seen what happened near me just the other day. I was going to the gym on Tuesday night.
Yeah.
No, Monday night, and I drove past TBK.
Ooh,
and Police tape across the parking lot. Police everywhere. I was like, damn, I wonder what happened. I'm driving back the opposite way after the gym. I can see the other side of the building. Bullet holes all in the glass.
Yep.
Turns out somebody tried to rob it. Somebody inside had concealed carry and shot at the guy trying to steal, and then he got in his car and got caught. So
Jesus Christ.
I was like, well, I'm glad it wasn't anything else, just shooting at the bad guy, maybe, hopefully.
About to say, it'll come up in the news eventually. Welcome to Chicago.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess going on to some other albums coming out, we have Isaiah Rashad coming out with the Sylvia demo. This is actually the live demo, the live version. It's celebrating the 10-year anniversary essentially.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see this. I love live version of albums.
And you
My
love
favorite
Isaiah
on Spotify. I do. I love Isaiah Rashad. I think my favorite live album on Spotify is the Forest Hill Drive. I want to say. Yeah, I think that's a really good one.
Yeah,
I think that's a really good one. I don't know about you guys, but that's probably my favorite like live one.
I respect live albums more than I actually enjoy them.
Okay, fair enough.
You know, I mean, like obviously, I love like the MTV Unplugged, like Nirvana live. You know, I still think probably my favorite live album ever, and this is gonna lose me a lot of credit in the metal scene, but I doubt I have any there anyway. Was Metallica's S&M. They did all of their big hits with a symphony. Like, do you know the Metro Boomin concert you just did? That, but Metallica 20 years ago. Like,
what is heavy rock in symphony?
Well, the thing is that, like, on a musical level, heavy metal and classical music are like some of the most similar music there is. Right? Like, if you undistort heavy metal guitar, it's essentially classical music. You know, that's like a thing that like a lot of people don't get apparently, but so it coalesces really well. It's an interesting album to listen to for sure. I think like to this day, like some of the S&M versions are some of my favorite versions of the Metallica songs.
Why'd you say you lose street cred then?
It's not like it's seen as part of Metallica's downfall. Like S&M is seen as them like as part of them selling out.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, because like the metal scene is like the punk scene or the hip hop scene even, like they're obsessed with credibility. So like when you start doing like shit like that and like it came after a long stream of poorly reviewed albums and it wasn't what the fans wanted. So like there's a lot of reasons that I don't think are totally head ass for people hating S&M. I just don't. Like,
okay, fair enough. Okay. Then what I'll do then, some other albums to go through. These are kind of smaller albums, but we have Lucky coming out with Two-Face, an EP that is actually already out.
Yeah.
And then we have Kevin Gates coming out with The Ceremony. So excited for both of those.
You mean album of the year?
Okay. Don't push it.
You mean album of the millennium?
Yeah. And then lastly, I actually want to cover this. He just messaged me on Instagram. I don't know if it was an automated message or he messaged me directly.
Yeah, Price. He's a local guy.
But Price, yeah. Price messaged me and said that City will actually be dropping tonight. So
okay, we'll have to check it out. We'll do a track review for City next week.
Yes, absolutely. Very, very excited for or to listen to that, get into it. It's an acronym actually. I want to pull up the full title just out of respect. The full title is, here, give me 2 seconds. Bruh.
People go crazy with acronyms. Just it stands for
Caught in the Youth. So that's what it stands for.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm excited to get into that.
Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to give him a quick shout out. Maybe I'll message him back and be like, hey, this is the podcast.
Yeah. We'll tell him.
Yeah.
Is that an album or a single?
An album, full album.
Oh, that's a full album.
And it's gonna feature like T-Pain and Hit Boy.
Oh, really?
Dope. Yeah.
I'm there.
So maybe we'll do a little collab.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. But going into some of the singles now, we have a ton of singles, so I'm just gonna kind of fly through them. Bear with me. I just want to get the music video out the way. The big music video people are talking about. Travis Scott did drop the I Know music video. So I did watch it. I don't know if you guys saw it. It's a little lackluster, in my opinion. If I'm not
Really?
gonna lie to you,
I
yeah,
liked
I thought
it.
it was nice.
No, I
Yeah.
it was
actually
okay.
liked it. Because did you guys watch the Topia Twins video?
Yes.
I did
Okay.
not see it.
I thought the Topia Twins video was a bit much, if you know what I mean. Like it.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
thought,
Well. Yeah. It's the song. You know.
I still like.
Yeah.
Up and up a jet ski.
No, it's just like it gets like exploitative. I think it gets like really gross and like objectifying. But I thought this was very tasteful.
This was more.
I
tasteful
thought this
than
was
that,
very
yes.
tasteful. I thought a lot of the direction was very cool. I enjoyed it quite a lot, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I remember somebody asked me about the Topia Twins video when it came out. They're like, "Did you watch it?" I was like, "Yeah." I mean, did you? It's like this is like the ticket to instant one-stop shop body dysmorphia for any gender. Like it doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah.
For everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not great. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. Music video, I'm assuming more will be coming out, so
Yeah.
excited for all of that. And then going into the actual singles, we have Skepta coming out with Gas Me Up. We have Megan Thee Stallion making a return with Hiss.
Yeah.
We also have
That's a good
Stir.
that's built because her last song was called Cobra. So,
Yes. I see a theme.
I see
Concept
a-
album?
The concept. I like
album?
snakes.
What if the
I'm a
concept
snake.
like what if it's as good as Good Kid Mad City, but the concept is just snakes? Like
I'll be there. Reptile House at Lincoln Park
I
Zoo is
will
my
be there.
favorite.
yeah, what
Fair
if she
enough, I guess.
performed at a zoo? Like
That is outlandish. I just thought about that.
That'd be incredible,
Imagine
actually.
at the Brookfield Zoo on the fountain and everyone's around. It's not a bad
in the
idea,
reptile house.
honestly. But yes, moving
The
on.
animals
from our-
deserve music.
The Gaboon
We're gonna talk
Viper
about
just
Zoo
fucking wiggling
concert.
around. Oh yeah.
One of those peacocks that just does not give a fuck about humans. Like,
Bearded dragons that are doing the thing with their head where they go like this.
I never thought we'll be talking about a zoo concert. This is outlandish.
Not the
This is-
Zonsert.
not the Zonsert. That was a good one. I like that. Buns, no. Combining words into new words, excellent. Like, love that. Like,
All right, let's reel it in.
Purvis
I
breathe.
was trying to, and I just couldn't.
okay,
You
Purvis, stop
kept
thinking about the
going.
Zonsert and tell us about Sir's new single.
You guys kept going. Yes, this is actually the one I'm most excited for. Sir has confirmed the album is done. He's working on the tour. Comes to Chicago, I'm going. But he is dropping a single tonight called No Evil. Super excited for that. We also have Ice Spice.
This is hilarious.
I thought about this earlier, and I was just like, the fact that I was wrong about her being a one-hit wonder just hurts so much more when I see like
Yeah,
a song named
that's
Fart.
fair.
And it's like, how do you prove me wrong with this? But
Yeah,
yes,
no, that's fair.
Ice Spice is dropping a song called Fart. And yeah, she'll be shaking
You're
ass.
not even a fart. It's very funny.
It is a funny song.
It's
The
very
chorus is
funny. You know, like you have to at least, like at this point, you can't help but just be like, she's got jokes. Like,
She knows what she's doing. But yeah, can't wait to hear that on TikTok all the time. We also have Young Blood and Lil Yachty dropping
This is
When You
weird.
Die. Yeah, this is an interesting combination, but it's just Yachty being Yachty, I guess. His
Yeah.
last year run is still going. We have Coyle Ray coming out with Wanna Come Through. We have Eric the Architect and Westside Boogie coming out with Instinct. We also have Tierra Whack. I'm super excited for this. Coming out
Love
with
Tierra
Shower
Whack.
Song. Please drop an album.
I love
Like,
Tierra Whack.
you
Talk
drop
about
one
an
of the
artist
most
primed for a
interesting
classic.
things, like Jesus or anything, please.
Yeah, no, I 100% want more Tierra Whack here.
Yeah. We also have 21 Little Harold and Jid coming out with Sundown. Jid better. But
Jid
that's all
better.
the singles.
Jid,
Jid better. That's all I need to say. But
Jid better. I literally have
I'm always coming strapped with my Jid merch.
Rachel just gave it back to me after the move, and I was like, Jid.
Yes, I finally have my Jid better shirt. But moving on, we have actual news. Jasper, you cover this because you added something.
Yeah.
What did you add for Kid Cudi?
Yeah, so aside from a tour potentially happening and him talking about going for 2 hours, 1 hour for new stuff, 1 hour for old stuff, which I will be there. He's confirmed the Moon Man comic is still on track to release next week. So
Cool.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
How do you obtain this? You guys are comic people.
You go to a comic book store and you say,
yeah,
I
comic
would
shops.
Oh, like it's literally going to be like full release.
Yeah,
Okay, I didn't know if
ship-
like
they
off
do,
its
like,
website
weekly.
or something.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
There's going to be
It's
a
for-
physical release.
Yeah, it's probably like more limited than like the new Spider-Man runs that come out, but like
Totally.
Okay.
it probably more plentiful than like an indie run.
I was gonna say I've never been a part of a comic release, so
Dude,
bear with me.
I just got
Although-
on the new Ultimate Spider-Man release. Dude, I am back in. It's so good.
You're locked
Yeah,
in.
this is Image. So this might actually have good inventory, and you can buy the
Yeah.
first one right now for shipping for $4.
Yeah.
Okay, but
Yeah.
The art looks so fucking cool.
Yeah.
that I actually am excited about.
So much of
yeah.
this is insane. Yeah.
Yeah. No, if you want good art, just go to literally any comic book shop, and Image especially. Like Image is known for having like really high quality art. I haven't seen it, but just it just confirms my preconceived biases based on the comic book industry.
I need to pick up the full finished edition of East of West. That's like my next big
Yeah.
comic acquisition. I love that series.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still hunting for Green Lantern, Green Arrow, 84 and 85. That is like my holy grail. I probably go to like 20 comic book stores a year looking for them.
Yeah.
And I'm just back for the Ultimate Spider-Man run. It's so good. Jonathan Hickman is one of my favorite writers of all time. He's the guy who brought Miles Morales into the standard Spider-Man universe, and also the new Miles Peter book written by the guy who did the Spectacular Spider-Man TV show. Very excited.
Talk about an amazing idea. Like Jesus, you've made some great art bringing Miles into the big picture.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, super dope. Moving on from that, since we're already talking about Cudi, I'll just jump right to that as well. The Cudi Lupe beef is apparently squashed.
I mean,
after
yeah,
like
no,
a decade.
I applaud the maturity. Although, like, to be honest, like, here's the thing. Like, one, I expect much worse from Kid Cudi. I think Kid Cudi is very sloppy around beefs. I'm going to be honest. But I also expect much better from Lupe. I think he's like one of the more mature voices in hip hop. And I always thought like Kid Cudi just brought out a lot of immaturity in him. So I'm happy to
all the pettiness was coming out.
So I'm happy this ended a beef. I would love a collab between the two. Lupe Fiasco is top 10 favorite rappers of all time, still dropping, incredible work. I think of the crop of rappers that I think him and Kid Cudi are kind of in the same class. I would say they came out within the same couple of years.
I was gonna say if I see the collab, I would want to see like a Food and Liquor and Man on the Moon, like them back then. I right now, I mean, cool, but if it was to happen, like do it in 2006.
Yeah, you're right. I would have wanted to hear like a Food and Liquor, Man on the Moon. You're totally right.
Like that would be an insane collab.
Yeah, but not, and like I don't know, because I think Lupe is on an upward streak. I think Lupe is kind of. I think the album he dropped last year, German Music and Zion, was just fantastic.
Was that last year?
The year before, 2022.
2022, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That
I was living
recent.
Yeah.
Well, COVID messed up everyone's time anyway, so.
Yeah, not that one. That one was the one he made in an afternoon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, cool. But yeah, some other stuff to go over. Travis Scott has been confirmed to perform for the 2024 Grammys. That will be next 2 weeks from now, or next week. On the 4th.
Next week.
I don't know.
That's next week.
So yeah, cool. Congratulations for him. Hopefully wins something this time.
Yeah. I'm pulling for Michael, but first off, I don't give a shit. The Grammys are fake, and no one should ever listen.
Obviously.
Out of spite, I would like Travis to win something.
Out of
spite for the Grammys.
I don't. To me, like, I would not be upset with Utopia winning because I think Utopia is just good. But like, oh, you mean the most commercially viable product won the award funded by ad dollars? Hooray! It's like
Yeah,
I
mean, we
see,
know.
I
Yeah.
see zero. Like I feel like there's at least a degree of earnestness if it goes to someone like Killer Mike. You know what I mean? I feel
That's fair.
that's just my opinion. And like I think
Mhm.
Travis Scott obviously performs great live. It's not going to be good here. It's not his fault. It's the Grammys. You know.
Yeah, I was gonna
It's like
say.
the Super Bowl, and I like the Super Bowl. Like,
Yeah, I was gonna say his halftime show was decent.
yeah,
It was short though.
Of course, I mean, yeah, they all are to an extent.
I don't think. I think very few. I think only very recently have the halftime shows been good. I think most halftime shows are very bad.
I think
did not
2018
think-
was this. Sorry, go ahead.
I did not think Travis Scott's was very good at all, but I do not think it was Travis Scott's fault. I think it was like they tried to put like 3 different artists.
A lot of stuff at once.
It was not well done. I don't think it's Travis Scott's fault, but I thought it was an atrocity.
I think that one was like okay. They started out, and I think they realized like what they could do
Yeah.
in terms of like maximizing time efficiency, and that was like the first year they tried it, and it was like his bit was fine, but like the structuring of it, you know.
I thought it was just I think just like trying to cram that much stuff into a halftime show is a fool's errand. So
Well, he only
Well, I
did
mean,
one
but then
song,
they,
right?
but
Yeah, he only
they,
did
yeah,
one
he
song.
did he did sicko mode, but then they did the same thing for Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, and Friends, and
Yeah, it
that was excellent.
yeah, but it was
Yeah.
also twice as long.
True, I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
And they were all in the same vein.
Yeah.
I feel
And-
like Travis Scott didn't fit with
Yeah,
any
that's
of
the
the
other
people
thing
there.
is that
Maroon
like,
5.
yeah, Maroon
what the
5 and everything.
What
Okay,
is that?
Is
Yeah.
it, is it Adam? Not Adam. Is it Adam Levine?
Yeah.
Maroon
It was
5?
something like
Yeah,
that.
that's
Something
Adam
like that.
Levine wearing the Travis Scott ones.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jesus, yeah.
Yeah, I thought The Weeknd was cool when it was just him, and
That
he
was
The
cool.
Weeknd was cool.
and he was able to be very weird, and
Yeah.
he
Rihanna
like-
did well.
Rihanna did well, Beyonce did well back in the day. But like for the most part, I think whenever there's like multiple people, there was one I think in 2017, I think it was the year before Travis, where Big Boy was in it, and like I love Big Boy, but like that wasn't very good.
What's going
Also
on
the
here?
Jennifer Lopez Shakira one was very good.
Oh, that one was good. That
That
good.
one was good.
There was a lot of
But
memes
that's
out of
because
that
like
one.
they're all like very focused, right? Like you can't just throw a bunch of stuff at it. And like once again, this is not Travis Scott's fault by any
No.
stretch of the
yeah,
imagination,
yeah.
right? But I, call it as you see it.
Mhm.
Who's
I'm
doing the
excited for
halftime
this
show?
year.
Who's this year?
Usher. And it's just Usher.
Usher.
It's just
That's
him.
cool. That's cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
Usher's cool.
Your host for the
Yep.
evening.
Yeah,
Yeah, also evening.
I've
He's gonna
heard
freaking-
I've heard a little birdie has whispered in my ear that Usher might be showing up at Lala. Complete rumors, complete heresy.
Interesting. Isn't
I-
he gonna be at
He's gonna be at that one festival in Las Vegas.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
I saw a poster for that today.
Yeah, no, it's an insane
What is it
lineup. It's
It
an
is
insane
better
lineup
than-
for people.
better than
Lupe's gonna
Coachella.
be there.
Yeah.
Oh, we
old-
got to talk about Coachella. That
Oh, we
reminds me.
didn't. Yeah.
I did not see the Coachella lineup.
Well,
don't
I'm gonna pull it
care.
up.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Okay.
While you pull that up, I'll cover some other stuff really
Yeah.
quickly.
Oh, so Travis
Um,
Scott, cool, good for him. Won't
yeah,
be mad if he
good for him.
wins, but I have zero expectations for this being anything worth watching.
Yes, absolutely. Some other stuff just to go over. Essentially, short tours coming up. Freddie Gibbs has the 10-year for Pinata. He will be in Chicago for
I will probably be
just
here.
one event. Yeah, I was gonna say May 19th at the Salt Shed. Excited for that.
I will definitely be.
Um,
Yeah, we'll be there.
Yeah, if we can get tickets, I would definitely go. And then on top of that, we have Andre 3000 next month will be here for a couple of shows for his flute album.
That's a
very
lot,
different.
Very different.
But-
Very cool. And he's performing at the Garfield Park Conservatory, which is incredibly cool.
Yes,
Yeah.
that would have been almost worth the cost for the venue.
The
and the aesthetic.
rooms, each show is a max occupancy of 100.
Oh, that's sick.
That's,
least
that's
I
different.
I know that's the case for Empty Bottle at least. I don't know
Yeah.
about Garfield Park or what the space
That
would even
would-
look like.
I've been to the Garfield Park Conservatory, but I haven't been in a while. That would strike me as pretty accurate. I don't
Yeah.
know. I could be completely wrong, but I would believe that 100%.
So here's a
Man.
question. That album is entirely improvised, right?
Yes, that's
I think
what
so,
I
yeah.
believe. So yes.
So is he actually going to be playing songs from that album, or is he going to basically be re-improvising something entirely new for each performance?
Almost certainly the second thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
would
what I was thinking.
imagine
It's like you're not
improvising.
actually even going to see the album. You're seeing the essence of what the album is, which is pretty interesting as like an art, like a
Yes.
decision. That's
It
pretty
would
cool.
be pretty dope. I potentially did want to go, just because I haven't listened to the album at
I
all.
tried, dude. I couldn't get past the ticket screen. It like wouldn't let me. You had to have a
Uh,
code or something. Yeah.
It's totally okay. I'm pretty. Andrea looked at it too, and it sold out in like seconds.
Yeah. Same with
Yeah.
Rachel.
Right. So it is what it is.
I just want one thing that is funny is like if we did manage to go, that's like you have the very Kanye moment of, hello, yes, I'm at the Andre 3000 show, hearing music that nobody's ever heard before. Because my life is dope and I do dope shit. Click.
It's like,
That
where
would be
am I
the
at?
introduction to the.
I'm at the Garfield Park Conservatory. I'm at the Andre 3000 show. I'm at the Andre 3000 flute show at the Garfield Park Conservatory.
Right.
I wonder
We
if
can
they.
make that a whole intro.
I wonder if these tickets are reselling. Let's see. I'm so just curious what the price would be. Probably not.
Yeah.
Anyway,
shall we talk about
Sure.
Jermaine?
Jermaine Cole.
J. Cole.
no Dupree. Yeah.
Jermaine?
Cole. We haven't done that in a long time, to be fair.
The dude from the Fall Off?
Yeah, no, we haven't done that in like years. Jesus Christ. Jermaine Cole has been labeled the rapper of the year from Complex. A very easy, obvious pick. So
Yeah.
I'm here for it. I love it.
Yeah, no. I mean, I think it's funny that they picked a rapper that didn't drop an album, but it's cool. Like
He did enough.
he did have an incredible feature run. I'm not going to deny it. You know,
He always has.
You know, obviously very happy, but yeah,
it is interesting that he didn't actually drop an album.
Yeah.
But yeah, moving on from that, Jasper, do you want to kind of go over this since you brought it up?
I want to talk about this. This is chicken soup for my middle class soul right here. All right. Coachella tickets are reportedly historically slow to sell.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Probably for the first time ever, and people are really coming down hard on the festival for a couple of reasons. One of them is the lineup. Other is just like the pricing, given the climate of everything.
Everyone's poor.
The lineup, it's of course the drill. It's like 2 weekends. Night 1, Lana Del Rey and Peso Pluma. Also, Lil Uzi Vert is that night. Second night, Tyler the Creator, Blur, and Ice Spice. And the third night, Doja Cat, J Balvin, and Jhené Aiko. Honestly, I'm not mad at Tyler, and the fact that Blur is showing out is insane. Like,
yeah,
that's
like,
very
I don't
exciting.
think I don't think that's like the craziest lineup in the world.
No,
but I also don't think it's like pathetic either. To be honest with you, I've seen Lollapaloozas has had worse lineups than that. But
I will say, I think the problem here is the disconnect between how good this lineup is and just the pricing scheme of Coachella in general.
Yeah.
Right? I agree with that.
Because it's like $600 or whatever. Yeah.
Oh, I agree with that.
And then flight, and then board, and it's just it adds up very quickly.
It's in like a really inaccessible place too. It's like very difficult to get to.
Yeah.
In the middle of a desert. People
are saying the headliner's underwhelming, coming off one of the worst years of all time. Quote, who has the energy?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's the perfect storm of not reading the room, I think, in a way that is really very true to confident organizers. This reminds me almost of like Fire Festival, and like not this to the same degree, but like same energy of like gross overconfidence followed by like incompetence.
Yeah. I mean, I would say like, unlike Fire Festival, Coachella does have a leg to stand on. I mean,
no, totally. It's got a history.
Coachella set is one of the best sets of all time. But yeah, no, I mean, Coachella is just a playground for the kind of people I hate. So, but then again, so are all music festivals. Like, so is Lollapalooza, and I go to that every year. So it's like,
yeah, it's true.
But that's because I can get to Lollapalooza in 20 minutes
exactly
for $2 from my front door. So it's like,
and it's in downtown area around very like stable restaurants and options,
and that, and like even if you pay
transportation,
that, and like a 4-day festival ticket is $350, which like I get that's like too expensive for like a shit ton of people and like exclusionary, but I think it's a way better deal than
Coachella's double.
It's like 700.
Yeah,
Double.
Coachella is
Yeah.
double for, and I think it's for 3 nights of the week because you don't get both weekends, do you? For that 600?
No, it's
No.
1 weekend per. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like
Yes.
one less day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That
one
is
of
also
these,
true.
I just want to leave you both with this one tweet about it. It's like, wait, do you mean to tell me that $700 for an Instagram photo shoot with some music on the side and no cell service isn't even worth it anymore?
Yeah, believe it or not.
Yeah, because
It
once
is
again,
true.
it's worth it if you have like Beyonce, but like not fucking. I liked Doja Cat when we saw her, but
I was
don't
gonna
know
say
about
I had the same thought. I like Doja Cat, but like this isn't.
the Doja Cat arena, and then once again, like I think like the inaccessible location of it is like, yeah, I think Jasper
a
brought
big
it up.
thing.
I think it's a huge fucking factor, right? Because once again, if I can for $225 in 25 minutes get to Grant Park and see Doja Cat, well, that's one thing, you know.
Yeah.
I was about to say,
the
even
other,
if you live in California, this is a tough commute.
Yeah,
You
there's
couldn't
not. Yeah,
just
it's not
go.
accessible to. Yeah, it's not around people. You know.
the other thing that's a problem is like the venue's inaccessible, but the people they've picked as headliners for the most part, the people are going to care about on this list are too accessible. The people who've been touring already, so you
Yeah.
get that effect of like, oh, well,
That's
you
totally
probably would
fair.
have if you
Yeah,
live in
it's not
LA
an
and you're
exclusive
going.
event, right?
Yeah, you probably would have seen them at the Forum or something. Like
I was about
Yeah.
to say Lil
Tyler
Uzi,
Creator, Lil
Tyler,
Uzi Vert, Peso
Doja
Pluma,
Cat.
Doja Cat, J Balvin. I mean, right there. I mean,
They've all
Lana
are
Del Rey.
road
I don't
dogs.
know, but Lana Del Rey's
We've
been
seen
touring
all
actually.
these
Yeah.
artists in the
Yeah.
past couple years.
Lana Del
At
Rey
least a
definitely
combination of
less
them.
than the others, but yeah, I don't. I think Lana Del Rey's a big get, but I don't think it's.
Yeah.
I don't think it's Frank Ocean.
Also, Lil Yachty.
Who
I
then
mean,
fucking
yeah.
blew it.
Yeah.
Looking at the rest of this lineup, I mean, there's some cool names in here, like Blur, Gesaffelstein, Sublime,
Yeah.
Dom Dalla, Don Baptiste is going to be there, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that's.
But
pretty cool.
again, $700 is like, come on, guys.
I did take time out to actually go because when you brought it up earlier, I pulled up the lineup as well. I like to just see smaller artists because I want to know what I'm going to be doing while I'm preparing for the night event. And
Yeah.
like there was Nav. That was it. There was no one else I wanted to see. If I'm being honest, I don't want
Yeah.
to see the Story Lonely. I don't want to see Ken Carson. Like I don't know anyone else I would want to see.
I would see Ken Carson. Skepta's on there.
I mean, Kevin Abstrakt's there, and even I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
not
I
Brock
mean,
Hampton.
it's an interesting list.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's too accessible.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like for an event that is about exclusivity and like I'm here and you're not. This is not the lineup.
Yeah.
Not that we should promote that. Obviously, that's a problem in and of itself. But
Yeah.
But real.
Yeah, right. And Coachella's either going to turn around or cease to exist. I think that's like one of the few things I enjoy about music festivals is that they're so superfluous to modern life that like if you fuck up, you just die. You just go away and you get to not have a business anymore, which is how I think more businesses should run. Like,
yeah, when you have to have high overhead, and then when you have that overhead, it just crushes you if you don't really stay with it, which is the way a lot of things should be.
no.
True.
All right,
All right,
should we
well-
get on to our first subtopic of the day?
Let's go for it.
Responding to one of when we did our flowers episode, this was one of the guys I gave my flowers to. We should do that again. We should do another flowers
should do that
episode
again.
now that we have Jasper here.
Yes.
But we did an episode where we talked about the content creators that inspired us, and we kind of just gave flowers to everyone. And one of my favorite ones is FD Signifier. I think he makes excellent like cultural breakdowns. I think it's great that he's like started making different types of videos because like his videos are like long essays, right? Like I recently rewatched the Drake. I showed Rachel the Drake and the Death of Hip Hop one, which like is almost
It's
like
a long one.
It's long, but it's like a movie, right? Like when you hear the backseat freestyle drop and he's talking about like we were about to place the crown on Drake's head, but then and then you see like Kendrick Lamar
This
with
big
the,
dramatic.
yeah, it was like, oh, of course it was Kendrick Lamar, right? So
Yeah.
I
Who
think
else
he's
is
just
gonna
made
be?
some of the best videos on the internet, and he recently did a great video that I wanted to do a segment on, but I think it just has. I personally have just felt like it hasn't deserved to be the topic more than anything else we were talking about white rappers and like the the positives of Eminem and like Eminem and his impact, basically, right? And as like a spin-off of that, he talked about one of my favorite artists of all time, LP, and he made the claim that LP was the superior white rapper to Eminem.
Okay.
Jasper is the only other person on this call who had an Eminem phase. How did you respond to this video?
I mean, when he explains it, it makes sense, but I don't necessarily know that. I don't know. I think the title's a little clickbaity, and I think obviously that's like what you kind of have to do.
Yeah, that's the point.
Yeah, to like survive in the YouTube environment or whatever. But yeah, it's like for anyone who hasn't watched the video, he digs into like
we'll link
what
it
the
and everything.
Yeah, it's like he digs into like, yeah, obviously Eminem lyrically blows LP out of the water.
Yeah.
In pretty much any era of their careers. But at the same time, it's like the net impact that LP has had on music culturally and who he has worked with and provided a platform for and like provided a label for and all that has generally been a net positive thing, while a lot of the cultural impact from Eminem fandom has been negative and brought people in like the early 2000s who are frankly undesirable. And I don't disagree with any of that. I mean, I think that everything you said pretty much is valid. The way it was presented was a little heavy-handed, but yeah, I mean, that's just the business of YouTube. So yeah, I wasn't mad at the take. I just personally, I'd be curious. I don't even know if there's a way to measure, but the majority of the people who we talked about who LP kind of platformed and you know, kind of worked with, I've never heard of. Like, this is like underground stuff that I'm not familiar with. So I'd be curious to see like what is the true impact of that versus like how many real fans did Eminem bring to the genre, right? Because like that was like my gateway growing up, just like with friends who listened to stuff like that at the time, and then that evolved into where we are now. Yeah. So I feel like I'm, you know, not Me Too kind of thing. Like I'm not one of them, but at the same time, it's like, you know, there's a line, I guess. It's not that black and white.
Yeah. Purvis is someone who doesn't give a shit about Eminem and probably preferred LP to anyway. Like, yeah, like you probably.
It's funny that you say that because it's pretty spot on. I don't want to say like,
because I think there's because my big thing that I want to touch on is I think there's as positive towards LP's career as this video was. I think there's a massive point he's missing.
Okay.
So I'm gonna set that up, and then I'm gonna let you talk.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the biggest takeaways, Jasper actually covered it very well. But I just felt like, in the context of the video, he makes amazing points. He makes some great points, and not that LP is already a pretty significant person, and I feel like he's made a pretty big impact on the culture already. Yeah. So it's not like he had to fight his way up and dig stuff up. Like, these are very valid points. They're very based. Like, he didn't say anything insane.
Yeah.
I do think he was a bit too aggressive against Eminem.
Yeah.
And like the mindset that certain people that came out of Eminem that do have that negative or
like I mean, yeah,
yeah, exactly. NF, Hopskin, all these other people who have aggressive lyrics and may not be exactly.
They're rappers, but like I think there's a genuine question on if they're like a part of hip hop culture.
Exactly. And the struggle that they're even rapping about doesn't even it's just very different.
Yeah.
But for me personally, because I don't really care about either one of these people, if I'm being honest. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I just know that I'm not in their core fan base.
Yeah.
So like it doesn't hit me as hard. It's very, very difficult for me to compare someone who Eminem is very clearly a rapper.
Yeah.
And LP, in my opinion, is a producer more than a rapper. And what he's brought to the table that's really impacted is creating sounds than actually sending a message through rapping.
Yeah.
So it was hard for me to compare LP, who I think of as a producer. Like, yes, you're influential. He brought up names like Denzel Curry. He brought up names.
Danny Brown. Danny Brown is probably the one who like most picked up the torch from LP.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
besides
those are impactful sounds.
Yeah.
Right. He also. Sorry, go ahead.
No,
Oh
go
yeah,
ahead,
I was just gonna say he made a great sound for a lot of good artists, but at the same time, he even said in the video like Eminem brought about like people like J. Cole, like Kendrick, like
Yeah,
you can't compare those two.
that's a fair
It
point.
just
Yeah, no,
isn't
that's a
close.
yeah. I
Yeah.
think the thing is that like the J Cole's, the Kendricks, I think are significantly downriver from Eminem. We're
Mhm.
much farther downriver than someone like Danny Brown or Denzel Curry is from like LP. Do you know what I mean?
That is fair.
I
Yes.
agree.
Yeah.
One thing I just wanted to add on to Purvis what you were saying. It's like I didn't even think about it in that way, but now that I think about it, he has a whole section dedicated to talking about Killer Mike and like kind of like almost jump charging, Killer Mike's career in a sense, and like
Yeah.
the Run the Jewels project and everything else. But in terms of lyricism, like you mentioned, I realized looking back over like what I have listened to from Run the Jewels, pretty much all the really impactful lyricism that I can recall all comes from Killer Mike.
It's Killer Mike.
And it's like LP's verses aren't bad, like they're just fine. But the heavier lyrics, like the things that stay with me, tend to be Killer Mike.
Yeah,
But
I agree with that.
and Brandon, to your point about being downriver, one thing he didn't address in the video that I thought was really funny is the people who are directly downriver from Eminem, aside from Kendrick, Cole, whatever, 50 Cent. Like we don't have 50 Cent without Eminem.
I don't know. I feel like I give like yes, I agree, but I feel like that's Dre too.
It is, but it was at the time. At the time, Eminem was significantly more popular
That's
of a
fair.
figure than Dre.
I think that's a totally fair and I think FD had some. I think FD also had a huge blind spot.
Yeah,
And
Okay,
I think
so-
I think 50 Cent, wouldn't have been
and I
in the
think
suburbs
I
without
think
Eminem.
50
Yeah,
Cent
yeah.
was like a huge blind spot in terms of like who Eminem brought up, right? I
Mhm.
also
Yeah.
would put a whole lot of way more of that on like Dre than like I would split any credit with LP. And the other thing I will say about LP's like lyricism throughout like Run the Jewels is one, I think Mike has made LP a better rapper.
Yeah,
So like if you listen to like
Naturally.
so I think like when you get to like Run the Jewels 4, they start like pumping, like they start punching a lot evenly. I also think it's like a different style. I think Killer Mike's like very in your face.
totally.
And like there are things like I have Run the Jewels 2 on my wall, right?
It's good cop, bad cop.
And like yeah, and like there are like LP's lyrics like I'm
It's good
still
cop,
like
bad cop.
figuring out like a puzzle box, right?
yeah,
But
Yeah.
in terms of artists that are like downriver, right? From,
Griselda.
I mean, Griselda's another one. Yeah, for sure. The thing is that I think about Griselda maybe a lot less stylistically, but yeah, I think Griselda is another one they brought up. But
Yeah,
I think
I
that
mean,
there's
Shady Records.
yeah, I think there's another artist that's directly downriver from LP from this artist's own mouth that I think very much wins the impact war, and I think that's Mac Miller. I think
Is Mac Miller from LP?
Mac Miller like has talked.
I don't know. I'm
Mac
actually
Miller
curious.
like was very open about like how like the East Coast like definitive Juck sound like really influenced him, right?
Mhm.
I'm certain that like he's viewed much like FD compares him much more to Eminem, but like just like when you watch videos where Mac Miller's talk about his influences, he never brings up Eminem. He brings up Company Flow and LP a lot. So I think that that's like and like I also think if you listen to their sounds, go listen to watching movies with the sound off. It's loud and noisy like an LP album, right? Like yeah, I think Mac Miller is like directly downriver from LP. I think besides Danny Brown, I think he took the sound LP made and ran with it the most. And I think when you include that, I think LP's impact, because Mac Miller has surpassed them both, in my opinion. Like,
that was going to be my closing note. Was that Mac
as
Miller
like
was
the best white rapper? I think Mac Miller has surpassed them both, and I think Mac Miller is far more of a result of LP than Eminem. So I think that that's like if we're comparing these two directly, I think that's the kill shot. You know what I mean?
I agree. In terms of white rapper influence within the culture, LP definitely takes it with that. Although there's one thing that I was thinking about that I kind of want both of your opinion on.
Yeah.
So we talked about 50 Cent, right? It's like 50 Cent is somewhat, to an extent at least, the result of Eminem popularity and the culture at the time.
Yeah.
So you get a bit through the 2000s, like you get to like 2005, 2006. Both of them start to wane a little bit in terms of like their general popularity, right? And you see 2008 come around, and that's when I think it's Curtis is released.
Yeah.
Right? Curtis is released directly the same day as Graduation. Right?
Yeah, gets blown out of the water.
Exactly. And I know that I don't know how true this is. For me personally, and I think especially when I was like growing up, I remember thinking of Graduation as being like the turning point for Kanye, where he went from being like somebody who people kind of liked to being like internationally, nationally known and like a super like massive superstar doing like stadium like sold out stadiums, whatever. So I'm curious,
I think
like
history has bore that out as accurate.
yeah. So like I'm curious, like I wonder to what extent that like album war of like those two contributed to that kind of rise of like it's almost like the double feature Barbie Oppenheimer, right? It's like would either of those films have been as successful if they didn't have a rival to compare to?
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering, like, not to say that 50 Cent then is effectively responsible for Kanye's rise, because it would have happened regardless.
Yeah.
But like, I'm curious if it had kind of an impact, and if that does originally flow from like Shady Records and Interscope and Dre and all that other stuff.
I don't think it's relevant at all to like this immediate conversation, but I do think you're right. I think you're 100% right that the narrative of like that, like what was going to win, like honestly, go watch the FD Signifier Drake video. He talks about this exact moment.
He did actually talk.
He talks about this exact moment because like 50 Cent was like the epitome of like the kayfabe, as he calls it, using the wrestling term, of like the 90s gangster rap, right? Where you're playing an authentic character, right? It's authentic, but it's also not the real you. Think Ice Cube, right?
Yeah.
50 Cent was doing that too, to an extent. Maybe not as much, maybe somewhere on that gradient between Ice Cube and Tupac, right? And then there was this moment where it was like, and then Kanye was just not that. Kanye was just a weird music nerd who made incredible hip hop music. And then there was a moment where it was like, which is the dominant sound? And it was that release, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that narrative you brought up is accurate. I think history has bore it out. I actually don't think it's actually all up for debate, to be honest with you. But I totally agree with you. And I think like, I don't think this is true in business because I'm a filthy socialist. But I do think competition generally makes people better. You know?
Yeah. I mean, all that to say that in the most abstract downstream way possible, Eminem helped make Kanye, so maybe that is the greatest influence in all of this, but that's beside the point. Yeah.
The further down
I know
exactly.
I think the biggest stretch you could give Eminem is that his style is like, I think, and I don't even think you guys agree with me about this, but I think his style is kind of having a moment again in an artist that's nothing like him, Jid. Like,
yeah, I agree.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like
no, I agree with that 100%.
Jid, like, yes, Jid makes music that's nothing like Eminem's, but like his actual rapping style is very similar. Like, so I think that's like the biggest stretch you can give. But even that, like Mac Miller versus Jid, like, is Jid better? Ooh. I don't know this time. Like,
one other thing I do want to say about that is that I think one thing that's really interesting about both of their styles, regardless of subject matter, to me, they both feel very reactionary, right? Because like Eminem, his whole style and aesthetic and everything was born out of like a contempt and a hatred for like shallow pop of like the 90s and the 2000s. So it was like counterculture at the time. And I think Jid's style, while, musically, potentially, I think a little more pleasant to like a mainstream listener, I think that his style and his cadence and everything about the way he delivers is really kind of a deliberate juxtaposition to like the mainstream kind of like trap.
Yeah, 100%, because he's from Atlanta. 100%. I think that's true. I think it's less. I think in Eminem it was a counterculture. It was like he's like rebelling against something. With Jid, it feels much more like he's just trying to stand out. Right. Because like Jid, I think embraces the trap sound and brings this kind
more
of
so for sure
style to it. I don't think he's like. I do not get the sense that Jid at all like resents the trap sound the way that Eminem resented the pop sound.
Sure, yeah. I mean, Eminem made his lyrics about resenting it. I think that was a big part of it.
Oh, 100%. Right. So, but yeah,
Christina Aguilera better switch me chairs.
No, I definitely agree that like I do think Jid's sound comes as a reaction to the Atlanta trap. I just don't
Yeah.
think like it's a complete counterculture either. But you know, that's where the interesting things lie. But yeah, no, that was it, and like that's basically my main point is that like I think Mac Miller has at time of recording, I think has had the best career out of any white rapper.
Yes.
And I think that alone kind of is the best argument for LP against Eminem, because like
I need to get through the rest of that discography, man.
Yeah,
Mac Miller's.
Yeah, dude, we talked about this. I was going through it, and I got super burned out after Macadelic, and I haven't gone back.
But the beginning's the hard part. Like
the beginning is the hard part. I was going to say you're in for the treat.
so I don't mind Blue Slide Park. It's whatever. It's a party album.
Blue Slide Park's it's like fine. I think it's just like kind of immature, but I don't think it's like bad.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy. I didn't really enjoy watching movies.
What?
Like overall.
Oh my god.
Well, I have to go back to it. It just, to me, at least the last time I listened to it, it just felt like very, I don't know, it felt kind of like formless in a way that I didn't love. Like I like albums that have a little more structure. I don't know. I have to go back to it.
Well,
it's been
like
a while.
here's the thing though. Like I love fucking that album so much. But
yeah.
Like that's why I think like criticism, like putting like your feelings into words is so important, because like you say it's formless. I don't really have a counter argument against that, right? Like
right, yeah, it's like very stream of consciousness in a way that doesn't feel like an album. Yeah,
but that's why I like it. You know,
gotcha.
I think that's like revolutionary and different, and I think the musicality around it, and I think the way he like bobs and weaves out of focus, right? And you get like moments like Objects in the Mirror or Red Dot music where it's like, you know, it kind of like it's like it's like being high, where it's like for a second you're kind of hazy and lost, and then you come into focus, and almost like a focus that you normally wouldn't have, right? Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, like I can't knock the formless comment. Like,
yeah, and then I got through Macadelic, and I was just like, man, there's a lot, and then I stopped. So I need to go back and do the rest.
Macadelic, but yeah.
I'm not mad at you. Taking a break is healthy, so there's nothing wrong with that.
But you're into Good AM, which was one of the ones I don't like as much. But I'm
Good AM, yeah. I listened to only some of it.
I'm starting, like, I've been in a very big Mac Miller revival right now, and Good AM is starting to grow on me a little bit more. But I love the Divine.
It's my favorite.
Yeah, I love the Divine Feminine. I love Swimming. Swimming had to grow on me too. But
I've seen some of the videos from Swimming, and I liked what I heard on that.
Yeah.
Swimming is probably my second favorite.
Yeah. Do we want to do schools in session this week? Because we have so many topics.
We can make it quick.
We could make it quick.
Yeah.
We can.
Are we going to?
Can we get like maybe 30 seconds on the clock each to like state our case?
But like, what if we get Playboy Cardi again?
Then we all know where we stand. Then we have nothing to talk about.
Not like exactly Playboy Cardi, but another artist that is basically Playboy Cardi, like
Ken Carson.
Christ. I don't think Ken Carson would be hard for us to do.
No, Ken Carson is
okay. I'm pulling it up. Okay. This actually won't even be hard, I don't think.
Okay, cool. Have we done them before?
I just pulled up 9 different ones just in case we get repeats, so I think we're good.
Okay.
The first one, Snoop Dogg.
Snoop Dogg, A. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh wait. Yeah, A. I was gonna say maybe A- for that whole stupid smokeless grill thing, but we're good.
That was good marketing.
No, it wasn't. It was bad marketing. The company lost a bunch of money, and their CEO got fired.
Yeah.
Yikes.
I don't know.
But it's not Snoop Dogg's fault. It's because the grill's too expensive.
Yeah, like it's not the advertising's fault. Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, A.
Snoop Dogg,
not A plus, but you know, A.
A.
Tyler, the Creator.
Oh my god.
A minus.
B. I go B because I got away his early stuff, and like he's got some stinkers.
Oh, I 100% agree.
Stuff though.
You gotta weigh that. You gotta weigh that on it. You can't just omit it.
I like Wolf.
I like Wolf, but I don't like Goblin or Bastard.
Yeah, I don't like
I
Goblin.
really do not like
Bastard.
Cherry Bomb.
I don't like Cherry Bomb.
Like you ran up in Boston?
B plus.
Yeah, I'm gonna go B.
I had to think about how many I don't like.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's we can
Okay,
settle.
we'll average out at B+. That's fine.
Yep.
Okay. Let me just throw this in there super quickly.
Yeah.
Okay. Next. Did we do Big Sean? We did do Big Sean, didn't we?
Yeah, we did Large Sean.
Sizable
Ty
Sean
Dolla
then.
Sign.
Ty Dollar Sign.
Ty Dolla Sign.
That's
B-.
tough.
B-. I really enjoy hearing him on a feature a lot of times. I think he has a very pleasant voice.
Feature.
But like, I've never heard anything really of substance from him. Right? Like, if Party Next Door is Diet The Weeknd, then I feel like he's almost Diet Party Next Door.
Right.
What did you say, Jasper?
I say a C+.
Yeah, I go B-.
I'm kind of feeling a C+, to be honest.
Okay.
Or a C.
You know what? I'll go. Let's go C+. Let's go C+ as like our collective. I'll do that.
Yeah, I mean, so a lot of his solo stuff just I think is pretty whack, and also he's working with Kanye right now on Vultures, which I think is also pretty whack.
Yeah,
so.
no,
That is
you
also
definitely
true.
agree. Definitely
Great
agree.
point. All right, Machine Gun Kelly.
Ooh,
As a rapper, hold on. As a rapper,
As
or
a
like
rapper.
does that also
I mean,
include the current career, which is
we
like
did say
weird punk
career.
revival bullshit.
Everything we've been doing,
I'm counting
we
all
have
music.
said career.
I'm counting all music, and just for the disappointment of it, because I do have a soft spot for MGK's early stuff.
Me too. That's what. That's what I was asking.
But the other thing is that like MGK fell off in quality long before he switched genres.
I agree.
You know, like his first mixtape was good. His first album was good. He had one other mixtape that was like pretty good, and then everything else was ass. Right?
Yeah.
So I gotta go. And like just like the wasted potential of it all. Like I'm giving him a Playboy Cardi. I'm going D. Like
Okay.
I would give him a D overall.
Yeah.
If it were just like if I could rate what I wanted to, like I would give Lace Up like a B-. I think that's a pretty fun
I would
album,
give I would give the Lace Up mixtape like a B+ and like the Lace Up album like a B. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, with everything else, and I mean, his Hot Ones performance is entertaining, but that's about it.
I would give him an F. So clearly,
yeah,
there's nothing else to do from Machine Gun Kelly. So D is totally fine. And then I'm surprised it took this long. Yeah. The last one we have is an easy one, I think. Kendrick Lamar.
I knew it was going to be Kendrick Lamar. Clearly the opposite of MGK. A+. A+.
Honestly, he's done nothing wrong. He's done nothing wrong.
No.
There's not one thing I can say that I'm upset about from Kendrick. It's one of the
tread lightly,
especially for our generation.
Tread
he is
lightly,
an A+.
Because this might be a sticking point.
Oh boy. Oh, I'm ready. Oh no, Jasper, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Why do you look at me like that? I'd say A-. I mean, I think the career obviously, like the discography speaks for itself. That's it. I don't know.
Some things I know you don't like.
Yeah, I mean, I have the whole sticking point over fan interaction with him, which I try to hold Kid Cudi accountable for, although it manifests in a very different way. But yeah, just like negative interactions with like everyday people and like maybe not using your platform in the healthiest way to like communicate things to those people if you are not happy with something that they've done. And it's come up a couple of times. But
can you unpack that a little bit?
Yeah, like the girl he brought on stage at his concert to sing with him. She was like rapping along and she rapped the verse correctly and said the N-word, which in hindsight, obviously not good, but this was like a good while ago before it was like, not before it was like not cool to say.
The 1800s?
Yeah, shut up. But it was like, it was not something
before there was progressive movements where you don't say like the F word out in public.
No. It was something that I think that at the time, more people, regardless of the color of your skin or your background, were like more on the fence about, as like, this word shouldn't have any power over people, so it shouldn't matter, and like say what you want, yada yada, all that stupid stuff. Anyway, she said it, not to say that was the right thing to do, but he like stopped the show and like critiqued her on stage in front of all these people,
But like,
as opposed to
but like the guy made To Pimp a Butterfly, and a white person came on stage and said the N-word.
But he picked a white person out of the crowd to sing it, like to do the
Okay,
whole thing. I'm just saying. So like,
but no, but like I want to.
yeah.
Okay, and like
What would be
I
the
don't.
appropriate response?
Yeah, like what would be
If I were him as an artist, like, not to say that I would make the right choice, but like I would either pick somebody who can sing the full thing with no problem, or I would maybe just not stop the show to like chastise somebody, because I think that's just like that's just not a good experience for anybody out there personally.
Can I ask you like an honest question, a just genuinely honest question?
Yeah.
Do you not think that it might be a safe assumption that if someone is so close to Kendrick Lamar on stage that he's within eye line of them, that person might be aware enough to know that he might not react well to a white person using the N-word?
No, I 100% agree.
Like that's my thing though. Is that
I'm
like,
not saying that it was a good thing to do. Obviously it
Mhm.
wasn't, but I don't think that the reaction and like being somebody with, such intense pull in terms of media and in terms of focus from the public, like if you need to direct all of your energy at one person about something that you don't like, I think that's just like, I think that's just not a good look.
But it's not like he
regardless of
tarred and feathered her. He was just like, hey.
No, but the crowd, no, because after he did that, the crowd was pretty much ready to do that. So he like kind of people started kind of.
I think that's
kind of
whack.
It's
like,
tough.
Well, that's one example. There's other examples of like somebody criticized his outfit online. He goes after people online. He's gone after people online before, shit like that. I don't think it's a good look, and like it's whatever. It doesn't take away from his discography or like all the incredible shit that he's done. But at the same time, it's just a sticking point for me, because it's like, if you are, and this actually ties back to, that post that you shared, Purvis, about that guy being asked like, what's the number one problem in rap right now? And it's like rappers versus MCs, and Kendrick was like one of my examples for this.
That later.
Yeah, this ties into that too, where it's like, if you have all this messaging about, and I'm going to screw this up because I don't have it. This is just like off the top of my head. If you have all this messaging about like, I don't want to say like understanding necessarily, but like about growth and humility and like being, I guess, your best self in a lot of senses throughout his like discography, that's like kind of a theme that I pick up personally. I don't know. I think to not try and maybe he's not that he's not trying, but to really have moments in your career, or like public moments in general, that really deviate from that path, at least in terms of like my view, I think it's just kind of like, it's weird. It's not disingenuous. It doesn't feel like that. It's just like a moment of like, it's like a disconnect. It's like a disharmony, I guess is the way to put it. It's just like something's not right about that. I don't know what it is. It just feels off. Like that's like it deviates from the brand.
Sure, but that's an opinion.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. That's why my opinion is that it's an A-.
I would put it this way, at least in terms of this example.
Yeah.
Coming from a black person, I do agree. He should have never even called her up there.
Yeah.
I understand that.
I wouldn't have gone up there, bro. Like, what the fuck? Like, what if I'm nervous and I say something wrong? Yeah.
I completely agree. He shouldn't have called her up there. But this is a very minor sacrifice for a much bigger deal. She will be okay. Him teaching, making her a lesson, she will be okay. Nothing changed in her life. She didn't lose her job. No one beat her up at the concert. She just got made an example, and it's okay that you're going to be made an example sometimes.
Yeah, you're going to be the main character, main character for like a week.
Sometimes you're going to be the main character, and it's going to hurt. You'll be okay.
I think my big thing is that I think like if he hadn't handled the moment the way he did, which like it
would be much worse.
I felt like it would be way more inauthentic. Right?
That's
the
fair.
guy
That's,
made
Blacker
the Berry, like I don't think.
Imagine him backing down to this random.
He's not like girl. It's not like he started like cussing at her or anything. It's not like he was like you stopped the show because like I don't know. I think it's wild that like there's any kind of I don't know. I feel like once like a white like and I don't know. I just like my thing. It's like once like a white person says the N word, I think like all bets are off.
I already know. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
the
mean,
same.
I'm
Yeah,
Brandon doesn't care.
100%.
Brandon doesn't care.
But I can just think about, and I know it's obviously not the same thing, but like there have definitely been times in my life personally where I've encountered slurs of a specific type levied at people like me, and I've definitely like turned the other cheek for the sake of just like it not being a thing and like not like the greater good and like the context of who that person was and what the moment was. And like again, obviously it's not the same. There's a different severity to different things.
Yeah.
But you know, when you experience it, you have a moment to choose your like you get to make that choice as the person on the receiving end. And I think it's just like how you handle that kind of defines, you know, not who you are, but like what you as a person are capable of are capable of rising above. That's how I would put it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. I think like my ultimate thing is that I felt like he did rise above in that moment.
By doing that.
Yeah, by by like not like I felt like not rising above would have been like cursing her out, you know,
Yeah,
kicking her
true.
off stage. I think that would have been not rising above.
Yeah.
All right, so that was our last one.
Yes.
I think we're coming down in an A plus.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
But okay.
All right.
Moving on, because this is a long episode.
Episode.
Let's get into some of our topics. The first half that we wanted to talk. Well, it's going to be less than a half, but
yeah.
First thing we wanted to talk about, we went to go see Mick Jenkins.
Yeah, on the tour for
very,
the Patients.
very exciting. Yes.
Yeah, no, and
hype.
And here's the thing: it was a incredibly good concert. That was just very meat and potatoes. It was very. There's a guy with a laptop playing the beat, which is fine, which is totally fine in this context.
And it works.
Like, this is, well, I think there's something to be said about this being the exact kind of artist where I want to hear the beat from the album. You know, at least for me personally. And yeah, I thought it was an incredible set list. I thought his energy was fantastic. He did 2004 twice. I was like, do it 11 times. Like,
this is my theme.
It is my
theme.
It is the other theme. Like, it is the other theme from last year.
2000 fiend.
Yeah.
I'm feeding for more. Just sorry.
Like, do it 12 times.
Dude,
but he did it twice. It was awesome. Like,
that actually was like, that was the. I'm not gonna lie, I did miss most of the concert for other reasons, but that I did get to see 2004 from the VIP section in the back, and like the crowd was going insane. That was like the peak of the concert.
Yeah, dude. And like, I do think it's very impressive. Like, his performance of Roy G. Biv was honestly like one of the cooler things I've seen in a long time, because it's a very lyrically complex song where you have to hit everything or it just falls apart, and it was awesome. So, yeah, no, I gotta keep it real. We saw it at the House of Blues. Didn't love the venue. It was a very huge. It was not the best crowd for it.
That was the first venue I actually did not like the venue. I'm not gonna lie. I don't want to go back to the House of Blues.
Yeah,
the workers were annoying. The space and area was annoying. The drinks area was annoying. Like,
it was not great.
It was very poorly structured.
We got down there. I mean, we got in pretty fast, considering that we got down there pretty late. But like, it was like impossible to find a good seat. Like, there was very yeah.
There were guards on every corner that like watched your every move.
Yeah, it was constant.
It was
the one big positive I will say is the acoustics. I think it sounded great.
It wasn't too loud.
Yeah, no, I think 100% wasn't too loud. I think acoustically it was fantastic. That is a compliment I'm happy to give the venue. But yeah, no. So I thought it was great. I thought it was a fun time. I thought it was super cool to get something that was just like very traditional hip hop.
Yes, for sure. Very different from our Travis Scott concert.
Yeah, very different.
And the Toby opener. That was my first time hearing Toby.
Yeah, no, it was very fun. It was very good listening to Toby.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a concert. I would go see him again if he ever tours. I'm here for the vibes.
No, it was fantastic. The only thing is that, like, it was a very meat and potatoes performance. It was a very, like, he got on stage, he did it. I wish there was maybe a little bit more artistry to it, but like, it's the House of Blues, right? Like, this was not a very conducive venue for it. You know what I mean?
There's no smoke. There's no fire.
You
There's no
know,
lights. It's him up there chilling.
it's
There's a
like
house and there are blues. In
Yeah,
it,
Yeah,
and
it's
that's
like-
it.
that's literally.
it's comparable to the Cubby Bear in Wrigley, you
Yeah,
know, like
totally.
and at least the Cubby Bear is like $9 to get it, like you
Yes.
know, and like so yeah, I just did not have a great time like there, but like as far as like the concert, like the creative
was fun.
thing I'm there to see, it was fantastic, right? And
Mhm.
I was so happy to see Mick. He has excellent stage performance.
He did.
I just you know,
Drink more water. Just
Yeah.
very, very
Yeah.
nice touch.
I love,
Also,
and I also think excellent set list.
yes, yeah, it was a very good set list. I
Yeah,
agree.
we got to hear Scottie Pippen live. That
It
was
nice. It
that
good.
was. I was thinking about it.
It's such a good song, honestly.
It's so good.
And I'm not gonna lie, I was in the VIP area. I saw your hat. You're wearing the same hat, actually. Now that you
That's
mentioned,
why I wear
I
this
saw
hat.
your
It makes
hat.
me easy to find.
And when 2004 came on, I was just like, man, I could scream this at you right now, but I'm on the other side of the room. But
yeah, no, it
dope,
was
dope, and I wish he had merch. That's my
yeah.
also
That's
say.
the other thing is that I wish he had merch. Did he not have any merch?
He
literally said,
he's like, y'all asking for merch? We ain't got it.
right. But he stayed after the sign stuff. So I mean that's cool, but
That's
like what
very
am
cool.
I signing? There's
He's
nothing
very
I can-
much like a look. When I talk about like the disappearing working class musician, I'm talking about people like Mick Jenkins,
Yes.
right? Like this guy probably has a house like us, and like
Yes.
puts out incredible fucking music, and this is the kind of shows you get from those kind of people. And you know what? Like all things considered, I thought it was a great time. I just wish it was at the Metro. Like,
Yes,
Yeah.
that would have been much better. I saw the video on Instagram. He posted on his Instagram like the day after, and like even from an aerial view, it was like this doesn't even look enjoyable. Like it just was completely crammed. It was not
Yeah.
ideal. So
yeah.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah. Any closing notes on the concert? I think we're good.
No, I thought it was
I'm just-
fantastic. I would definitely be down to see Mick Jenkins again if the venue and time is right, especially if he puts out another project as good as the last two. So yeah, that's basically my thing.
I am just not necessarily super looking forward to going back to the House of Blues. I'm going back in June, and it's on a Saturday. What made this at least convenient going this time was that this was on a Friday. So it was like you just kind of, walk over after work, that kind of thing.
Well, you can bum with Andrew. Get a free
Yeah,
parking
which is
spot.
true. Yeah, I'll probably have to do that. But yeah, going down there on a Saturday, it's just like, fuck.
Yeah.
Also, all the cars having to be valeted. Jesus. Okay, I won't keep going on. I'm sorry. I just realized I really don't like the House of Blues.
Yeah.
But moving on, we spoke on this around Halloween, but we are doing the Year of Doom. All of us have been talking about wanting to go back to listen to MF Doom's discography. I know we are all at very, very different levels in terms of how much we heard and how much we know about MF Doom. And here we are. We are finally here for the first episode. We are doing his first release,
project, Doomsday.
Right.
Yes.
Doomsday, Operation Doomsday. And to my understanding, when this was released, this was very early in his career where this was his low-key phase. This is literally underground rap.
I mean, like, so yeah, Doom is like this. He's like this extraordinary figure, like looking back on it now, like with all these years of lore and shenanigans. But
yes,
at this point, he was still like barely noticed, even at the time.
That I do know, at least, because essentially what I wanted to do while listening to this, because we're diving into his discography, I will let you guys know for future episodes. 2 of my cousins have already said they really want to come on, and then another mutual friend said they want to come on. I don't know if we'll have all these people, but eventually I do want them to come on and like to give a full backstory, because I'm very limited in my knowledge. I know he had a rap group with his brothers called KMD. I know somebody passed away. And then
his brother got shot. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know a ton of the Doom lore. Like I've listened to all these projects before, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've done the Doom dive like about 10 years ago. It just didn't stick. At the time I just was not into, I was very into like Mac Miller and Kid Cudi and like the new sound, and I was not like feeling it. But I did listen to everything, and like the only one that really stuck with me was Mad Villainy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, Jasper, I feel like you might know a lot about the backstory then.
Yeah.
You know, like the history?
A good number of people, and by a good number I mean like 3 people who were either like close friends at one point or like my brother also very into MF Doom. Yeah, like I know that the backstory is like his brother got killed and then he basically like had a breakdown and was like borderline homeless and stuff like late 90s. And then he kind of got it back together and the Doom persona was like exacting revenge. Yeah, and it was like revenge not only for his brother but like against like an unfair world was like at least the way I understood it when it was told to me.
Yeah.
And I started like being exposed to and kind of listening to some of his stuff probably like 2016, 2017. That was like when I started really getting like more info on it. Like I had always known like the gladiator mask and like the iconography behind it, but never really got into the music before that. I will say in terms of projects, of his 3 that I consider to be like the main projects, this one is my least favorite. I think it's just like earlier in the career and it's not nearly as crystallized or like the not everything is in place formula wise for like what I think is like what makes an MF Doom album. But I mean for what it is, it's excellent and it's expansive. Which
it's
is
a very
cool.
good introduction to the sound and like the comic book fan in me. Coming back to this, like obviously loves like his take on the Doom character, right? Like
it worked very well.
It's so well, right? To the point now where like there's like a TikTok trend where people are talking about what's the MF Doom song they should play when they introduce Dr. Doom into the MCU. I think it should make sense. But yeah, no, this was like, yeah, and this was my impression the first time I listened to Doom's discography. But yeah, it's like a rough and tumble kind of like debut project. I mean,
yeah,
this is going to be a stretch. It reminds me a lot of Owl Feral more than anything else, right? And like, it's just a very raw encapsulation of the sound. Yeah, those sounds are radically different, but like the context in which they're presented. You know?
I can see that.
And the other thing is that like, I also think, you know, as a delineator from like someone like Chance or The Weeknd who kind of appear with like a fully formed sound. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't say Chance appeared with a fully formed sound, but I see what you mean.
Yeah, I mean, I think 10 Day has like a sound. I think it's a different sound than Acid Rap, but I think it's I don't think it's as like
it's not as different.
I don't think it's as suspended by tropes of the region the same way Owl Feral and Doomsday are. You know what I mean? That's what I mean. Yeah. And once again, that is not an overall delineator of quality, right? This is just like, you know, I think like how innovative like all of these, you know, clearly very innovative artists are. And yeah, so I mean, it was a time of MCs, man. It was a time when like people actually like gave a shit about rapping, which like, you know, it's the writer in me, but like that's kind of the thing I fell in love with. Obviously, like I love the musicality of it. Kanye West is forever going to be my first favorite rapper, and probably, you know, we'll see how his legacy ages now. But like, yeah, like as someone who this is like the main appeal for the entire genre for me, it's refreshing. And even if it is like not fully developed, it's made of the stuff I like.
Yeah, that is true. I feel like even paying focus to like his writing and his lyricism, it's one of the core foundations of the genre, and that's why we like love it so much. So like when I was entering this album, just in general, I had to keep reminding myself that like this came out when I was 3.
Yeah.
Like
I
was really a baby.
Yeah, I was 6. You know,
so like what I'm listening to is just gonna be entirely different from what I'm like used to right now. It's completely different, and I had to take several breaks to be like, this is a time where like MCs were a thing, like, and people celebrated being an MC, or people celebrated it, even though he's not a
he wasn't like
battle.
a big
Yeah, he wasn't some like rap battle person, but like it's in the same vein where like people literally went to rap shows to like see stuff like this. Um, and there's so much like mystery behind him and what he is. When I pulled up the lyrics, it suddenly hit me why this is everyone's favorite rapper. Like this is your favorite rapper's favorite rapper.
Yep.
Because the words and lyrics and just stuff he throws together
It's insane.
was ridiculous.
It's insane.
It's aggressive.
Yeah, it is aggressively creative. Yeah, it is. It's insane, and I also think like it's fully formed within the concept, the Doom concept. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I'm very excited for this run around with MF Doom because I think Griselda Brandon is gonna like MF Doom a lot more than Good Music Brandon did. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
this is true.
I'm excited to revisit Mad Villainy. That's like
that's the one I have to have it on my wall before we get to it. I have it there. I just haven't hung it up yet. Like,
I have a soft spot for food just because
I think we need to do food too.
Yeah, I mean
think
that's one of the
4, right?
That's or 4, I guess. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's like that one's a little more whimsical, but
Yeah.
it's got that's like when I started getting into him in like 2017. That's like I kind of gravitated to those sounds a little more, but I want to go back because I know that Mad Villainy, from a critical standpoint, is probably a top 10 hip hop album for the entire culture. Not like in my top 10 necessarily, but just in general. It's like 100% definitely up there.
Oh yeah, 100%. Mad Villainy is a pinnacle. But like you don't get there without coming here first, right?
100%.
Absolutely.
You never
that's a great point to bring up.
So I've heard Mad Villainy. I mean, probably still more times than I've heard Doomsday, and I listened to it 4 or 5 times this week. But like, it's still. I feel like now that I'm going to approach it with this critical lens, I feel like I'm really happy to get this full context of like what the Doom started off as, right? And like, I do think it's a rough album. I think even by the standards at the time, I think there's a lot of skits.
Yeah.
I think that first skit goes a little hard and is a bit much. I think the rest of them, though, I more or less completely fuck with. So yeah, it's just, I think there are some weak points in just that, like, one, it's a lot of the same thing. And I think that's a standard that even at the time, I think was valid. And I think there's a bit too many skits. But beyond that, I thought this was an excellent album.
Yeah. It is very, very rough in its structure in terms of like, I think we mentioned already, but it's so broken down where it almost feels like some mixtapes to me. I don't know if I want to say mixtape, but it's the closest thing that I can refer or like compare it to, I should say. Because if I'm looking at it on Spotify, the sound is structured, and I have a general idea of the theme that he comes across with, and he does it very well. But it's all over the place, and like if you even just, I know numbers don't mean everything, but if you even look at how people listen to the album and break it down, it's literally like all over the place. It's very sporadic.
No, it's an album that like people seem to listen to all the way through. Like
right. And then if you look at disc 2, which I could be mistaken, but it seems like this might be a vinyl version.
Yeah, this is like the collectors.
Yeah.
Okay, so like that, the same thing. What you just said, where they listen all the way through, all of them are within 1 or 2 million, and that's just like on Spotify. So it was really dope getting into it, but I realized this is not something I sit down and just casually listen to. When I first pressed play, I was trying to like multitask and do overtime at work, and I completely stopped the music because I was like,
it's
too much. Keep up. I can't.
Yeah, it's something you gotta do passively.
Can you imagine trying to do a repetitive task and getting into a flow state, and then tick tick comes on?
Just, dude,
no,
I'm gonna get
it's
into
over.
That. I'm gonna get into that.
I was listening to that song. So I went to a friend's house this weekend, and I was driving over there, and that song came on again, and I had to slow down driving. It was like, turn the radio off. I can't see. It was like that level of like, bro. Imagine trying to keep a steady cadence over that, and like the skill that's required. It's unbelievable. It's unsettling.
It is, but
that is a great.
That's how he does it, though.
Yeah, it's really
That's why he's
interesting.
the.
Did it in
That's
its
why.
own way.
That's why he's the mad villain.
Okay.
I think I remember hearing in an interview that he is Tyler, the creator's favorite rapper. Actually,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
your favorite rapper's favorite rapper.
Yeah,
Essentially, yeah, that's the whole
It
thing.
is,
Tyler,
he is a
Creator.
ton of rappers' favorite
Yeah.
rapper, to be
Yeah.
honest.
I think he was LP's favorite rapper until he met Mike, and then he was like, "Mike's my favorite rapper." Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
And
Perks
I
of the
mean,
job.
this is like, remember when I gave you that speech about Future being like the king of trap? This is
Yeah.
the king of underground, in my opinion. Like,
yeah. No, he is.
he's what?
Yeah, no, he has. I don't know about the king because his rise came so after. He's like the god. He's like a mythological figure of the underground. You know what I mean? He's almost like an urban legend. Like, have you guys ever heard about the Doombots?
Yeah, yeah. What's
About
the guy to a non-believer though? Like,
I don't know. I don't know if necessarily underground is the right term. Even I think of him as just being like the ultimate rhyme scheme architect.
okay,
Like nobody has any kind of flows or verses that have any level of. Nothing holds a candle to this.
no,
like
yeah, he's a yeah.
Have you ever seen those video breakdowns where it's like it'll like run it out and it'll highlight the words?
You can't do that with this. You can't. Yeah, you
Well,
can't
people
do that.
have, and it's
it would be
unbelievable.
the entire
see,
song
yeah.
would
The
just
entire
be color
song.
coded.
It's
Yeah.
just like
Yeah, no.
Every
like, yeah,
word.
like, in terms
Nobody
of
does
like
that,
rhyme
yeah.
scheme complications, there's none. J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, none of them
no,
get
it's not close.
Which is even
Even
crazy
close.
to say.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
yeah.
But yeah, I do think, like, I think that's like a very good perspective because like that is the thing that he is just goated, like undeniably goated at.
Oh.
But I do think he is like the quintessential underground artist because like about as many people heard this album the week it came out that as like is gonna hear this episode of the podcast, right? Like
Right.
it was quiet at the time. And now it's at the point where he's Tyler's favorite rapper. He's Drake's favorite rapper, allegedly. He's
You have
LP's.
to make it there.
Yeah, right. You have to ascend that, right? Like this album wasn't like discovered, and it really wasn't until stuff started getting featured on Adult Swim, you know.
Yeah,
And then like he was really lionized after his passing, right? So
yeah,
you know, and obviously deservedly so because he had the discography. It's just that people didn't notice it. It's very similar to like there's a very famous book called The Confederacy of Dunces that is like a very funny. It's like supposed to be the funniest literary novel of all time, right? And it was published 10 years after the author committed suicide. You know,
Jeez.
like
Yeah.
yeah.
So, it's like that.
Purvis, I totally forgot to tell you about this.
What's
a
up?
little while back, a coworker of ours, Jenna, texted me, and she was
Yep.
like, "All right, Jasper, I have a question for you. I have to know because I just don't get it. What's the deal with MF Doom? Why do people like him?"
What's the deal?
And I said, nobody ever did or has ever done rhyme scheme like
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
before
100%.
or since. And then I sent her one of those lyric breakdown videos, and she watched it. And I got a text 5 minutes later. I get it.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
just like it makes sense.
I get it
to
now.
hear
Yeah.
that.
It's
I
wild.
mean, it's rhyming the entire verse. It's
Yeah.
not like it is literally every word,
And
which
it's like
is
2 to
scary.
3. It's like 2 to 3 rhymes per line.
Dude, it's
that all
insane.
sync up. It's unbelievable.
I
I
think
feel like he just had a like. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
insane, dude. And I think what's
he just had like
interesting-
a book open.
what I
doing
think
it.
is interesting about this, I think when you say like when Jasper says like, "Oh, this is probably just not what I would consider like an MF Doom album," I'm willing to bet this is the thing that changes. But I felt like this worked on like a very high and a very dense level, right? Because like when I was listening to it, like I've listened to it like 4 or 5 times, but one of the times I was listening to it, I was in this room and I was just playing Halo and listening to the album, right? And like Rachel was drawing and she was just sitting right here, right? So she's not paying attention to it at all. I'm like, yeah, I'm listening to like basically homework. And she's just like, oh my God, I think this is a great vibe. And it's just like, you know, she's just listening to the music on this very surface level. And I think like there is like a strong aesthetic and a strong vibe to it. And I think it works on that level. And I think it works on the, I have to stop my car and think about all the levels of rhyme scheme to this. It's not like a Kendrick Lamar song where it's just like this, a powerful message is delivered to you. It's like, no, you can either nod your head or you can read the tracks, but that's all you're gonna get, right? Like,
Yeah, over time, I like that you brought that up. Over time, I've kind of started to, I don't want to say rely on, but definitely like use that or think about that as a metric for what makes like good rap from the perspective of like obviously lyrical consistency or density, but also just like in keeping with the time and the flow of the music. I have a friend who has auditory processing issues and bounces off of pretty much anything hip hop. But then when we started hanging out more, I said, look, don't think about the voice as like you having to pick out every single little thing and and understand it and analyze it on the first listen. Let it kind of run over you like it is an instrument within the mix.
yeah.
And see if that becomes like an easier listening process for you. And it did. And since then they've gotten a little more into like potentially listening to lyrics or picking things out. But it's like MF Doom is like I think very much the not the beginning, but like definitely like one of the artists who you can most easily like start out and just let it wash over you and have a good experience.
100%. Yeah.
And then really drill down and like on the 100th listen, something new stands out to you again. It's like over and over and over again.
And
Yeah,
you're going to keep
agree.
finding
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. And like I'm sure that like as we dive deeper into his discography, deeper and deeper and deeper, I'm sure there's more stuff in the middle with the messaging that like I think gets more compelling, right?
Yeah.
And like that's fine. For a first album, I'm okay. Like just getting those layers. Honestly, that's all I really need to keep it real.
And he
like,
did it very
on a
well,
first
so-
album, give me a good vibe, something I can nod my head to, and then something I can sink my teeth into. It doesn't have to be everything. It can be just one thing. It can be something like this that doesn't have like a lot of like substantive messaging, but the rhyme scheme is fucking crazy. Right?
Mhm.
That's fine. You know? I'll keep it real. At this level, I think that can carry your career. You know? You don't have to wrap it in a concept like Pusha T does, or wrap it in like layers and layers of style like Lil Wayne does, right? You can just like have it be at this level, but it's got to work at those two levels, and I think he accomplishes that.
Yeah.
What were
I
some of
agree
you
with that.
guys' favorite tracks?
I mean the opener, Operation Doomsday is just like
Yeah,
certified
Doomsday.
classic.
Yeah, Doomsday's a
Doomsday's
classic.
a big one.
You
Rhymes
get-
Like Dimes is a big one.
Rhymes Like Dimes is incredible. I think my underrated favorite on here is Hey.
Hey, he's
Hey,
a
it's
really
good.
good one.
Hey and Operation Greenback. This like little sequence between the Doom Are You Awake and the Mystery of Doom sketch, I think is my
Yeah.
favorite part of the album. The MIC Operation Greenbacks and Hey. Hey was like, I listened to that while I was walking home in like the foggy night. And I was like scheming, going back to my lair, going to be a villain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you both think of Red and Gold?
I liked Red and Gold. Red and Gold I thought
I-
stood out to me.
I think that one's interesting because like it I think definitely has or caters to more of like what is the traditional hip hop sound at the time. You've got kind of like the female R&B esque vocals over like
Yeah.
Live drums as well.
yeah, it almost had like it almost reminded me of like mid 90s Tupac in like the structuring.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah.
Tick Tick is unsettling, but
Dude,
It's good. It's a good song.
it's like a car accident. Like you know it's like it's nauseating, but you can't help but like look at it. You know, it's like damn, like I don't love the way this sounds up front, but just hearing the way things come together when you don't expect them to is insane.
Yeah.
that is a great way to put it. That is a car accident
Of a song,
that
yeah.
song
Yeah.
is a car accident because like it was tough. I've listened to this maybe 2 or 3 times, and it every time it's just such a break in the album where I'm like, God,
It just goes "Ba-na-na-na-na." Yeah, when it does the
let
climb.
me prepare
ugh,
myself, and I'm like, bruh.
wild.
But overall, amazing talent. I decided to pull up the lyrics, and like, it's just a lot. I'm
this is-
interested to see.
Purvis,
I-
this is exactly the opposite of when you pulled up the lyrics to Around the World on our Daft Punk episode. Direct opposite ends of the spectrum.
Literally around the world times
Amazing.
1,000. It's like what? But yeah, it's just a lot to take in, and I would be excited to see. Brandon, you kind of hinted at it earlier, and I was going to build off of it, but like I want to see what would be a concept album for him. Of course, later down the road, where like he could talk about, I don't know, his brother's death. He could talk about the industry. He could talk about anything that's going on in the late 90s, early 2000s.
I mean, I think we're
He'll
gonna
cover a lot.
Yeah, I think the other thing is that like I would just like him to have like just something to wrap it in. Like I'm willing to bet, like believe it or not, I'm willing to bet we get to Food, which is an album I've listened to very little, even though I know it's like lauded. You know, it seems I recall Food having like a pretty strong concept, and like I know like you talk about struggle losing his brother, like that's where you want to go with a concept, right? But think about something as culturally rich of a topic as food. I don't think there's anything,
yeah,
as universal, So I think we're going to see that. And like, I'm personally, like, even though I think the production on here is very good, I'm very excited to see the like how he compares with different producers. Like, I know we're definitely going to be doing Mad Villainy. But
I've actually heard the Scarface album already.
Which one? Oh, the Czarface meets Metalface?
The Czarface, yeah. I actually listened to that like by myself.
Yeah. I think he has one with West Side Gun too.
Oh, I've listened to that now that you mentioned it.
Yeah.
And that was actually going to be another thing I wanted to bring up. It's like his discography is literally all over the place. And when I say that, he has music outside of the name of MF Doom.
Yeah, he has like Victor Von Doom. He has King Ghidorah.
Yeah.
He's almost like J. Cole, where he features himself. Like,
so it is interesting to see. I want to know, where did he shift? If it was something underneath MF Doom, if it was something he was doing as a side project. When does it go from, okay, this is amazing lyrics, amazing rhyme scheme, to like, okay, this sounds like a full complete album, like this is everything I need in it, like in and out?
I'm not sure. And I think another thing that we have to make sure not to fucking completely lose is this idea that like it was all part of a grand performance. Like the dude was super secretive. Like he lived this Doom persona, hence the Doom bots, where like he would send fake MF Dooms to concerts because he wanted to be a villain. Like, and that shit would piss me. I don't think there's a single artist in this world that could do that to me, and I'd be okay with it.
I think The Weeknd could.
I don't know. No. I feel like if we're at a concert and The Weeknd comes out, he's gonna lose his mind. I'm gonna lose my mind, and then they're gonna take the mask off, and then we're gonna be like, "What the heck?" Like,
that's The Weekday.
Yeah. It's like, what is this? Get Tuesday out of here! Like,
Trevor Noah. It's just Trevor Noah. The Weekday.
God.
But yeah. Well, yeah. No, I think diving into Doom is just like such a huge undertaking, right? Did we have like any strong like expectations coming into this? Because like he has like such a legacy behind him, right?
Yeah.
And like to me, I guess like the main thing, because I had listened to this project before, I guess the main thing I was like trying to pick out was like how thoroughly is this Doom idea baked into it, and the answer is very like.
Yeah.
Well,
it's very ingrained.
I mean, because he had a whole a group career with his group before this in like the early 90s. So it's like the renaissance of him as like a solo artist coming back. I don't know. I think it's very difficult to pin down like what is and isn't part of like the Doom canon in terms of like projects, because he's all over the place. The solo projects don't even, like Mad Villainy is not a solo project. That doesn't even count, and that's like one of his like pivotal albums.
Yeah,
it is.
So it's like, I don't know. I think it's pretty much any way you cut it, it's kind of like a hodgepodge.
I think we all agreed that we wanted to start at the beginning.
Yeah.
And I think we made the right choice.
Yes.
Do we know the exact other three we want to do? I know two of them. I know we want to do Food and Mad Villainy.
Yes.
So
those are going to be the last two.
His solo projects are Operation Doomsday.
Yeah.
Take Me to Your Leader, which
but that says Victor Vaughn.
No, that's King Ghidorah.
Oh yeah.
Victor Vaughn is Vaudeville Villain and VV2, Vaudeville Villain 2. And then Food, and then Born Like This, 2009.
Yeah.
So I was under the impression I thought someone said Vaudeville Villain. Is that not one of them? I don't know.
That's an album he released under a different name. He didn't release it under Doom.
Okay.
Yeah,
Are
the
we
only
going to
MF,
listen to that?
the
Because that
only
would be
MF
before
Doom
Mad
ones.
Villainy. Yeah.
Well, Mad Villainy was also 2004 though,
Yeah.
so it'd be either way.
My suggestion. Listen, take. I think we do food next, or actually no. I think we do Mad Villainy next.
Yeah.
I think then we do food. So we do solo collab. We do food solo, and then we do the Mouse and the Mask.
Okay.
Mouse and the Mask.
The one with Danger.
Yeah. Danger Doom. What about Born Like This? Because that's the last solo project.
Oh no, maybe we'll do a 5th bonus episode.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
and that one's only 40 minutes long, which is not terrible.
Yeah.
Well,
and it was a long time before he died too. Like,
yeah.
It was his last project, but it was a good 11 years before he passed.
So, what I was gonna say is, we're doing this every 3 months anyway. So, we have January for this,
April,
and then April we'll do Mad Villainy.
July we'll do food.
Okay.
October we'll do
the Mouse and the Mask.
Danger in the Mouse, and then we'll do maybe in December.
Right. Close it out.
Yeah, because we always just struggle to find shit for December.
This is true. We're all busy. We're all thinking about Christmas,
and nothing's releasing.
And nothing's releasing. Yes.
Ooh, can I point something out that's wild that I don't think I've ever seen any other artist do that he also does? I'm just digging through MF Doom Wikipedia right now.
Yeah.
All of his projects are on totally separate labels.
Yeah.
Every single one of them, including the ones that came out in the same year as each other. That's wild.
The thing is,
that's wild to me.
I don't even think about labels when I think about MF Doom. That's the other thing.
Right, me neither.
I feel like when
but
it's so driven for underground music, the focus is themselves. Like, they do everything. Like, because like for me, obviously, it's not the best comparison. But when I was being introduced to music and what I was known or being told to be known as what underground was like Earl Sweatshirt. So like, that's what I'm imagining when I'm listening to MF Doom. And that's why I feel like people were at the beginning of his career.
Yeah, it looks like maybe only 3 of these projects. No, wait. 4 of these projects share a record label. The rest are all totally separate. That's insane.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, whatever we choose to listen to. I mean, Danger Mouse, underrated. We should definitely dig that. That's gonna be great.
Yeah.
I mean, my whole approach to everything we're doing here, when you say like what were your expectations going into it, like what's your mindset, this is one of the very few moments I'm just listening out of respect. Like, this is just pure giving honor.
Study. It's almost study. Yeah. It's like,
I'm not even diving deep into like, oh, what's this beat? What's that beat? What does this lyric mean? It's literally just like, I want to just listen. Like, I just want to experience it for myself, you know? So that was my only expectation going into it. It's just like, this is going to be a very good experience.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with that. But yeah, I definitely have to say that they think this, you know, we all have an idea of Doom. And like, once again, like I'm in like this very precarious spot where it's like, I've heard all this music before, but like, I just didn't have like an intense reaction to it, either emotionally or like cerebral in my mind. So it's kind of just interesting to me. Because like, I think it just like affirmed my belief that like Doom was just this insanely creative person who like had this incredible career where he like really defied boundaries, right, creatively, but that same defying of boundaries kept him in the underground, right? Like, he was always a working class musician. Doom never did stadium shows or shit like that. Maybe if he was alive today, he probably would, but who knows? So to me, I've always just had like a deep respect and admiration for Doom, and this has just cemented it, and it like just affirmed a lot of positive preconceived notions I had about him as an artist. So I think the last like kind of question we should handle ourselves, and maybe we can revisit this one every time we come to a Doom project, is how do we think this man would handle in 2024? Because it's just such a different world, right? This is like when people talk about the product of their environment, like time is such a huge part of it too, you know. But at the same time, like, would he have found an audience much earlier and then have been boxed in creatively, and we would not have gotten this alter ego spanning erratic career, you know? Is that worth it? Who knows?
I mean,
yeah.
Go ahead, Jasper.
I was just gonna say, I think that like if he were releasing music today, or around active today, it would still be just as subversive. I think it was subversive at the time, and definitely outside of like the public spotlight of like what is popular music. And I think that over time, it's appreciated just because of how many, you know, rap nerds there are out there who have like kind of brought it to the forefront, dragged it to the forefront. But I think that like if he were releasing today, like he would have that cult following, but for like that stuff, I don't think his new stuff would necessarily be held to that up under that same spotlight, at least not by people today, right? I think there might be like a latency to it of like when people discover and really appreciate that music.
Honestly, it's an interesting take because the newer stuff I feel like would click easier just because.
I don't know. With the age of the internet, there's a lot out there, you know, and it's like he never, based on what I've heard and like what I've listened to, it's like none of this music strikes me as music that's like necessarily intended to be consumed in like a commercial sense, if that makes sense, right? This all feels personal, or like if not personal, principled in some way, where it's like personal principles dictate that this gets made because it's like this, the person who made it cares about it, not because I'm gonna make a record to sell records. I'm gonna make a record to say how I feel.
And is there a certain artist you would compare him to then that would like does that nowadays?
It's tough. I mean, maybe Daughters, the band.
Okay.
But that's like a completely different genre, and it's like it's definitely, it feels like making music because you genuinely have a need to put it out, as opposed to like fuck what everybody else thinks, you know. And I feel like that's definitely kind of like the vibe of like I'm gonna do these all on different labels, and I'm gonna do them under different names because I don't give a shit. I just need to be creative. I need my outlet.
Yeah.
And I don't know if music, regardless of the internet and like all that, all of like the kind of like steamroller influencer pop culture, even with all that, I don't know if it'd be strong enough to kind of pick that up and run with it and make it like forefront of people's minds. I don't think you're gonna see new stuff from him on your For You page on like TikTok or whatever.
Yeah, I think that's a good take, because I was actually going to mention that I feel like he would still be successful, but the beauty of him doing this, or the benefit of him doing this back in the 90s, he has the time and the pacing to actually develop MF Doom. Like it took him several years, both through struggling and being homeless, but also just when he is thriving, to actually like sit down and make the music he wants to make. A lot of artists don't have that luxury nowadays. There's a lot more force and drive from the industry, the fans, how music is like even consumed. There's just so much going on that forces them to just, I don't want to say make trash, but
no,
it's a harder
product.
push.
It's a product. That's the thing, right? Is that like MF Doom, like this widespreading creativity, like that's why like I have like such like an like I feel like any genuine like creative expression is gonna have like an inherent adversarial relationship with like anything that's seeks to commodify it, right? Anything that seeks to turn it into a product, right? Whether that's a business, whether that's a person, whether that's a movement. I think genuine creativity is always going to resist that. And I think if you don't resist that, then the question becomes like, how creative are you really being? And I think like that's just what MF Doom was doing. And like, look, I think on one hand, like you can still do that. You can still, you know, throw your middle finger up and just make whatever music you want. Billy Woods is doing it right now. Like anyone, I think a ton of people are, and like, granted, not everyone has a big budget, but like lower budgets go a lot farther nowadays. Like that's,
That is true.
The
You can give one little hit of fame and just blow up.
I mean, that's not even necessarily what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like how much cheaper it is to get into a studio where you can actually record something.
Yeah.
To the point where like for $2,000 you can have the setup we have and just make shit at home, right? Which to someone like Doom would have been a game changer.
Perfect.
Would have been a completely like different mode of operation, right? So I think it's like impossible to tell like how he would interact with like all these different pressures. But I think Jasper is probably the closest to being correct in that I think he would still end up being subversive and like a middle finger to the music industry, because like the reality is that like in this day and age there's just more people to give the finger to.
Also, you gave me an idea. I have a take, a purely hypothetical take here. I think that it would be very much like If You Know, You Know type of thing, kind of like it was in like the mid 2000s. And I think that there would be commercially viable, popular artists who would be like aware of who he is. But even with how heavily saturated music is now with features, I don't think he would ever really be a feature. And I think it's a double-edged sword. One, like, who would he want to actually work with in today's landscape? And two, I think any rapper out there today would be kind of scared to have him on because of how intensely,
like what out-rap him.
Exactly what he brings to a track. So
you don't want Dr. Doom to do a control verse, right?
Exactly. or like the fact that Jay-Z was like, God damn, having Eminem on Renegade is like one of the worst things that ever happened to me.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that's funny because that's like a very personal manifestation of like personal interests and like personal creative pursuits kind of at odds with like commercial viability, because it's like someone whose career may then be at stake or may have like an issue because they're being so shown up on their own song, right? It's like food for thought. I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think he would just be like Mr. Underground till the day.
Yeah.
You're still gonna have West Side Gun wanting to collab with him.
Definitely. West Side Gun collab with anyone.
What does West Side Gun sound like?
West Side Gun can
Doom
get Black Star and Run the Jewels on an album.
They have a song
and
together.
Give Stove God Cook 7 features.
Yeah.
West Side Gun does not give a shit. Like, he is the people's champion.
Right. But I'm saying
MF Doom Paul Wall feature? What? Like,
oh my God, please no. Enough. No.
We need more Paul Wall features. That is my
drawing the line.
That is my 2024. That's the greatest white rapper of all time. Like,
all right, we're becoming unhinged. Let's get to
that's the greatest one. Yeah, no, I give this an A. Maybe an A minus. Like, I think it's just like a stellar debut. I think it has like a more or less fully developed sound. I think it hangs on a lot of tropes of East Coast rap, but like, I like those tropes, so it's like I'm not too mad about it. And yeah, like the lyrical density has gravity. It's so fucking intense. So yeah, I give it an A. I'm gonna give it an A. Yeah.
All right.
Purvis, good.
I think I'm gonna do like a B plus just for me. It's got to be consumable, and sometimes it's hard to keep up. I'm not gonna lie.
I agree.
Sometimes it's hard to keep up. I think it's a great debut. I think some of the things that he can put together is astonishing. It is amazing to witness and just be a part of it. But this won't be in the rotation.
Yeah, no, I mean, Hey might be in my rotation. This might be something I go back to every once in a while to capture like a specific vibe. But I'm willing to bet as we dive deeper into Doom, like, I think like another artist that we talked a lot about today, I think might be similar to me, is like Mac Miller. Because it's like, I don't really listen to a lot of Mac Miller songs, but like I go through phases where I spin his whole albums very often. So I think I could definitely be going through like phases of MF Doom where I'm listening to the albums in their entirety more often.
I like that. All right, Jasper, what's your grading?
I'm gonna go A-.
Okay.
I think it is a strong start. It's very long, and by modern standards, it's very long. It's not like long for a project, but it's intimidating for sure. Um, I I just I feel like I've already had spoilers, which is why it's like I'm giving it the grade I am.
Right? Yeah.
Where it's like I know that better
I'm
stuff is
trying to.
coming
Yeah,
later.
I'm trying to forget Mad Villainy. That's my thing, right?
For me, also just like the musicality of Food really does it for me in a way that this album
It
doesn't
does
as
sound
much.
better, yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I would say just A- for that, and then also like I am not the biggest fan of the skits. I know what they intend to be, and like it's of the era, but
it's
for
a
me,
lot of
it's
skits.
just-
It's a lot of skits, and I
Yeah.
really think that first one's obnoxious.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, for that's pretty much how I feel about it. I think it's an excellent project overall, though, and I think that if half the artists working today could come out with something half this lyrically dense, I think the industry would be in a much more interesting place. But it's not. So
You can't have too many Dooms running around.
you don't have any Dooms running around. That's the whole point. All caps when you spell the man's name.
All caps when you spell the man's name. All right, guys, dude, this is a long episode. This was a long one.
Yeah.
And we still got to do our Rex.
Let's get this through.
Okay, so I'll go first because I'm kind of doing a bit because I'm trying to take songs that are as different as possible to show that I've been kind of going through a bit of a breakdown. This first one is possibly the greatest vibe that has ever been cultivated by a human being. I believe it came out last year. I have no idea, but I found it and I cannot stop listening to it. It's the Nothing Is Freestyle by The Alchemist, where he's rapping on it. Bro, it's insane. It's so luxurious. Like the delivery is 10 out of 10 delivery. Like the lyrics are like they're no doom, but like they're not shitty either. Like inside the backpack, the Mac is hid. Flavor packed, I stay in the sauce like a rack of ribs. Like,
oh yeah, listen to the Alchemist rap really.
Yeah, dude, it's very good. It's very smooth. Listen to it if you like Alchemist beats and like the kind of artists that are on Alchemist beats. This is like a very pure version of it, and I have to be honest. Even though it's like obnoxious, and it's not, I don't love it as earnestly as I like a lot of the songs produced by The Alchemist. I would love to hear an album of just him rapping. I know it'll never happen because I don't think he thinks of himself that way, but that would be awesome.
But Jasper, are you ready?
I'm going to do an MF Doom one because it's been stuck in my head for about a week since thinking about this topic. I'm going One Beer. Classic.
Oh, of course.
Very good.
And I get all those Instagram memes recommended where it's like other things that rhyme that are like then put over the beat. Like I think I've sent that to both of you where it's like this is MF Doom and it's like some random thing that rhymes and it's like that music in the background. I was like, God damn it.
I think one of them was like a newscaster or something.
Yeah, there's also one of like some guy that's like Slenderman breaks into his house and he's like trying to kick him out because he's like eating a sandwich or something. So bad. It's like weird, random, abstract, like first person
this is his fan base.
video. Yeah, it's so strange. It's like, and this is my brother exactly. It's like MF Doom fans, Aphex Twin fans, and it's like there's a lot of overlap in those. Yeah, there's a lot of overlap in those circles.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It is the same circle.
You now understand probably 60% of my brother's personality.
Fair enough. Okay.
That and throwing a little Sublime and like some more like.
That's all.
Yo, does he not practice Santeria? Fun fact: my grandmother unironically practiced Santeria. And sometimes I had curses. Anyway.
Not even Batman could bring me to admit that. In a public forum.
Yeah, no. I'm just putting it out there.
All right, Purvis, do
You
your
dig
rec.
off
Stop.
the wrong thing in the backyard and you're cursed, and there's just nothing she can do. Like,
It's over for you. Those curses don't
man.
really have an undo button.
no, not really.
Okay. Moving on. My first song, I just started a new playlist actually recently. I've been inspired by a bunch of smooth edits on TikTok of Paul George and Erykah Badu or whatever song it is. So I've been making a whole new playlist for like smooth edits in case I ever want to start doing edits or like sports and stuff. I called the playlist "Can't Believe It's Not Butter." Don't judge me.
I hate you so much. I'm making an unhinged playlist soon. I will debut to the world.
All right, we could both release on the same day.
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll drop our playlist on the same day, like we're Drake and Kanye West. Like,
nice.
I'm Drake.
No. Okay, fine. Anyway, the song is "Me and Mrs. Jones." I've been going back and listening to a bunch of 70s music. Absolute banger.
Oh
Yeah, such a good song. Although the message is literally about cheating, so
Yeah.
but good song.
Yeah. Okay, so remember the conceit here. I'm trying to recommend the most as different thing from the Nothing Is Freestyle by The Alchemist as I can imagine. And this song came across like my recommended videos on YouTube, and I saw the two artists that were associated with it, and I could not say no. And I listened to it, and it's been stuck in my head. And you know what? It's not great lyrically, and it's not great musically.
Okay.
But it comes together, and it is a fucking load of fun, and I'll stand by that. I'm recommending Just Say That by Duke Deuce and Glorilla.
Yo,
Wow.
that's such a pairing, dude. Holy shit.
And the sample is of like a Beethoven sample.
That's insane.
What?
It's like it's fun. It's a fun song. Like,
I mean, I'm here for it, but like, what
it's
is going on?
exactly the song you think it is. From
I
like,
was gonna say,
Yeah.
you know what it is.
yeah, you know it is. It's fun. Listen to it. It's fun. Like,
Just for both of your entertainment, I want you to know that the only context I really have for Duke Deuce's career is his feature on The House is Burning,
yeah,
where he goes, "Ah."
Yep.
yeah. That's
And
his
that
thing.
is him.
That's his
That is
thing.
his
What the
thing.
fuck?
Yeah, that's
That
his
is
thing.
it.
That's what he does. He does that, and he
And
dances.
it works.
Yeah.
I'm literally listening to the song right now because I wanted to hear it, and it literally opens up. What? Like, that's literally.
It's like if Jaleel just said, "What the fuck?" It's like,
Yeah.
all right.
Dude,
10
a
out of
It was like
Jaleel Duke
perfectly
Duke.
lined up.
Yeah.
That would be so insane. Jaleel Duke Deuce, produced by Danny Brown.
Oh man,
Produced by JPEG
That was
Mafia.
amazing.
Oh yeah, there you go. Better. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Ah, Jesus. Okay.
Yeah, listen to it, and also listen to the Alchemist freestyle. Tell me what you think. How you think?
All right. Is it Jasper's? Whose turn is it?
Yeah.
It is my turn.
Okay.
My last one. I've got a song that I think you both like the artist. You both know the artist, but I'm willing to bet that when I say it, neither of you will be able to tell me what it sounds like.
Okay.
I'm going New York City Rage Fest by Kid Cudi,
Oh yeah. That's like
Indicud.
yeah.
2013.
I almost
I have,
recommended a
like,
song.
the general
I
idea,
almost
like-
recommended a song from Indicud. I almost ditched the Duke Deuce song to recommend Girls.
Oh,
Good
that's
song.
I know.
That came up in the shuffle last
Yeah,
week. For me.
I almost recommended Girls or the Nirvana song Something in the Way.
Hits.
Yeah. It's foggy
Yeah,
out.
that's
I have to listen to Nirvana and walk around. Makes me feel like Batman.
2025, the new one.
I give it to me now.
Yeah.
Please.
As long as Catwoman doesn't do that stupid walk again, I'm good.
No, Catwoman can do whatever walk she wants.
Literally whatever walk she wants.
Well, I don't care. You do not get to judge how black women walk, Jasper.
It was never about that. You know it.
I'm sorry, I caught it from
No,
Rachel.
no,
Like-
there's no way. Okay.
I'm gonna say I will not be made out to be the podcast racist. All right.
Someone has to do it.
Someone
Hey.
has to.
I volunteer one of you.
I smell like cocoa butter right now. I'm not the racist. Like
Make uninformed
I
comments
am
about
cocoa butter.
Jesus.
But we didn't say racist to black people though. So Purvis could just be like, really
I
hate.
can do
someone
whatever,
else.
and I get a pass. No.
I don't know about that. I think Mr. West has
Yes,
proven
yes.
that that's not true.
Yes. Okay, I'm ending the podcast.
And the podcast, Purvis, you have the power.
The
to end
last song is Bodie James, "Saints and Sinners." That's it.
Okay,
Turn the video off.